Welcome everybody to another session of the Breath of Fire Circle Wednesdays, where we get into the dynamic and really awesome flow of the breath with intensity, the breath of fire, bringing heat into the dantian, the furnace, that belly, so that we can really digest our food, process our thoughts, and really just be more active and activated as a being on this planet. So for those of you who have already joined me before, you know that I got a few little techniques that aid in us activating the abdominal muscles and also getting accustomed to this intense flow. One of them is just holding your hands up here and feeling the breath as it hits the palms of the hands, and knowing that the more vigorous the thrust with the abdominal muscles, the more forceful the breath is going to expel from the body. Remember, the breath of fire, specifically, our mouth is closed. Now, if you want to modify that, you can do a ch, 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 and actually that ch sound activates the abdominal muscles even more. So, but the thing about that is when you're doing that, quite often what's happening is your mouth is going to dry out, because when you're going ch, you're expressing not only the sound but some of the heat from the body. And since you know that the mouth is part of the digestive system that has water in it, when you ch, you're expressing a really fine vapor. That's why you can follow the mirror, and we shared that exercise before. So today what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little more dynamic with the breath. We're going to add movement, because when we're doing yoga, we're doing slow, gentle movement with the sound of the breath, or with the breath, except for when we're doing some aspects of Kundalini yoga, when we're doing kriyas, where we're doing rapid pace breath and we're flowing with the breath at this intense pace. So I want to make it plain and simple for you, which is everything I had to do intentionally. So we're not going to really get all into the whole yoga and all of this stuff as far as the names and all of this kind of stuff. Simple. I want to keep it simple, because I want anybody to be able to access this. I don't want you to have to go through a yoga training, because you got a body. You can utilize your body, because it is your body and you're responsible for it, folks. So this process is all about getting in tune with your body so that you can manage your body, so that you can walk vibrantly in this thing called life, maintaining your spirit and all of this kind of good stuff. So let's just start out gently. Picking up the pace. Say you're walking down the street. So you can do this breath while you're walking. Now, say you're getting to run. Picking up the pace. You got a steady rhythm. Getting your little light jog on. Going to get into a sprint. Okay, you're not sprinting, you're just sitting there. Hands moving with the pace of the breath. Notice when I raise one hand, my body moves slightly. So as I'm moving, what's happening is you see my torso doing a slight movement. So in my lumbar vertebrae, my lower spine, down in here, I'm getting a side-to-side movement. So that's activating the lumbar vertebrae. Now, as you doing that movement and you're activating the vertebrae, you're bringing synovial fluid into the spine. You're bringing heat. You're talking about the first and the second, or the second chakra in that area. So you're activating the chakras. And this is good for your lower back because you're doing a gentle twist. So vertebrae are doing this. So it's a massage of the vertebrae. That's one simple exercise you can do. Now the thing about movement, all movement is exercise. So in principle, what we're doing in this process with everything that I'm sharing with you is we are activating the body through simple movement, and there's thousands upon thousands and thousands and thousands of movements we can do. You know, you can break one movement down into several hundred simply by modifying, simply by doing one part of the movement. Like I just showed you this thing right here. Now, while I was doing that, first I was bouncing. So, you know, that was a little bit of leg work. Then I'm twisting slightly, a little bit of lumbar work. And of course, you know, you got all of this stuff going on with the breath, including the nostrils and the sinus cavities and all this stuff. So all of this stuff comes into play as we're doing simple things. So you want to really just get into doing simple movement. You don't have to do an expansive movement. You don't have to do a lot of movements to have dynamic impact, especially when you're adding the breath to whatever that movement and that flow is. So one of the things I like to do is when I wash my hands, I like to just swing my hands, because rotating the wrist is going to keep the hands more, the ability to move more supple and maintain your youthfulness. So let's wash our hands. Soap and water. I'm going to get out in between the fingers. Bring those fingers. Now I'm going to rinse our hands under the running water. Now, above the sink, you don't want to splash water all over the place, so now back up away from the sink, rotate the wrist, reverse it. Remember, we're just washing our hands, now we're drying our hands. Now, the other thing I like to do, this is going to increase sensation in the hand. It's also going to bring more blood flow to the hands. And when you're talking about the hands, you're also talking about reflexology. So, remember, we just washed our hands. Every time you smack, it's going to cause that water to splash away from your hands. So this is one of the moves that's going to dry your hands quickly. The entire time, we're doing breath work. Now this is going to give you a little bit of work in the pecs. Bringing the hands together but not touching. You can slap, but just stopping here is going to give you some dynamic movement and exercise in the upper back, shoulders. Now we're going to take hand over hand, alternating. Now, alternate, hands like so, coming across the body. One hand hits the side, just in the trapezius muscle, just below that. The other hand hits the shoulder. And you're exhaling as you come in, because that's a contraction. Inhaling as you come out. And you can lift the chest as you do this. And this is going to open the chest, get more oxygen in the body, and also it's going to be a nice work for the pecs because you're going to stretch those pectorals, and it's also good work for the upper back. So that's where we wash and dry our hands, and we take full advantage of doing this breath work while we are doing everyday simple things. Everything that you're doing in the way of movement with your body can be turned into an exercise. All you have to do is modify the movement, segment the movement, add the breath to it, and you can increase the pace, you can slow the pace, you can create a rhythm, and you can do all kinds of things that will actually allow you to increase the life force energy throughout your entire body. This is going to give you longevity, this is going to give you health and strength, and it's going to boost your immunity up to. Everybody's concerned about the immune function right now. We got all of this fear that's being spewed all over the planet. You know, there's this one disease where we have a multitude of diseases. And if you look up, you know, the impact of that disease compared to the others, most diseases that are killing people, you can look this up. The WHO, World Health Organization, has listed most of the diseases that are killing people. The top 10, 7 of the top 10 are what's called non-communicable diseases, i.e. you can't pass these diseases on. Most of those diseases come from what you're putting in your body, because you're talking about high blood pressure, diabetes, all of these things. And all of those diseases come from eating. So from my perspective, the number one cause of death is eating. People are eating themselves to death at a much faster pace. Or people are dying at a greater rate, I'll say that. They're getting these, they're eating themselves to death. It takes you longer to eat yourself to death, of course, but you have a greater chance of eating yourself to death than dying of this respiratory disease that's out here now that they're pumping up and fear-mongering about. I'm not going to get all into that because I don't do that, because that's a whole other agenda. I just want you to be fully aware that you can maintain your body optimally using the breath, using slow, gentle movement or rapid pace movement along with the breath. What you put in your body is crucial. Okay, also, I'm going to be doing a Patreon page, which means that you'll be able to have a subscription with me that's similar to what it is what you're doing when you have an insurance. You pay on a monthly basis. And, you know, they don't guarantee you health. I can't guarantee you health either. But I can guarantee you this. If you do the things that I share with you, you will be healthier. Period. I can guarantee that. So that'll be coming up at the end of the month. So stay tuned for that, folks. And I thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate you. And I look forward to the next time that we get together. So peace and blessings to you all.